We have breaking news. Let's get right to it.
Past 24 hours, we've seen 34 new cases of COVID-19 here in Utah.
Following breaking news out of Utah, a magnitude 5.7 earthquake hitting just after 7 a.m. local time, about 10 miles west of Salt Lake City.
You need 100 to 150,000 tests a day.
Welcome back. Isolation20 Podcast, episode number 48, I believe. I never take time to write down the episode number, so I apologize, but I think it's about 48. 48 sounds good for this podcast. I am DreRawka. If you don't know me, I am a father, husband, hard worker, right? I do a lot of different things. Something else I do is I try to lose weight. I've been on a weight loss journey for a while now, like on and off, right? If you follow this podcast, you know we check in ever so often about the weight loss journey, and man, it's been great. It's been good. I actually had a really good workout this morning. Did a solid 30, 45-minute workout. I maxed out the free weights at my local gym, which makes me feels good, right? Because 50 might not sound big or a lot of weight to some people, but for me, it was. After my back surgery, it was really hard to build that strength back. And when I say hard, it was just physically hard for me to get into a gym and lift because it hurts, right? It hurts to lift more than normal, right? I started out maybe about 25s, 30-pound weights, free weights at my local community gym, and slowly progressed up, right? And today I killed 50s no problem. I I did 3 reps of 12. I'm going to increase my reps now that I feel comfortable with it. But now looking at me going into the gym now, I'm like, oh man, yo, you maxed out the free weights. What's next, right? I feel like these are the type of places where I start to get creative with what I can do next with this whole journey, right? Can I add a different type of workout? Can I add yoga? Can I add jujitsu? Can I add kickboxing? Can I add boxing? Can I add cross country? Maybe not cross country, CrossFit. Maybe one of those. Because once I start to hit these milestones, it just gives me more confidence. And I love that. And I love to hear people on their journey. And I love to see when people tag me in their stuff about what they got going on. And, just me kind of being vulnerable with where I am with this journey. I feel like it gives people the confidence to be vulnerable with their own journey, right? I was at Lagoon on Saturday, and my sister-in-law, she came with us and whatnot, and she was like, my husband goes to the gym, my kids go to the gym, but I don't feel confident just yet. She's like, I want to lose about 10 more pounds, then I'll feel confident going in. And for me, I had kind of that same mindset where I was like, yo, I got to do this before I feel comfortable with that. And when I thought I was comfortable with this, once I got to the field and started working out with the Sunday workout crew, I felt like I wasn't comfortable. Now I'm comfortable because I know the guys, and I feel like I'm able to come out of my shell a little bit more and things like that, as far as just my confidence with that. But when she told me that, I instantly thought I don't think you'll ever just go into something being super confident, at least not me. And in my experience and the people that I talk to, that confidence, you have to find that within yourself. And I feel like the more you do things and the more milestones you accomplish, maybe that 10 pounds is a milestone for her. I don't know. But for me to clear a rack, to clear a whole rack of weights, I can literally go into my gym, my community gym, and be like, I can lift every single weight on the free weights. Now, the machine's a different story, right? Different story, different workout. But I'm slowly getting better at that too. I would love to just be able to just pull all the weight that's on the machine. I can move it, but to actually rep it, that's a different story. But it's been a great journey. I got my year mark is coming up in March. So that's about what's that? What are we in? This is pretty much September. Well, by the time this drops, it's September. So September, October, November, December, January, February, March. So about 6-7 months if you count the month that you're in. I feel confident. I feel confident that I can lose 42 pounds. It fluctuates, right, with me gaining muscle. Like, it fluctuates my weight and whatnot. But I feel confident that I'm going to be able to make that weight. I took some kind of, like, I don't want to say progress photos, but I did take photos of, like, my sides and my front today. And I sent it over to my wife, and I was like, yo, do you notice a difference? Because I don't. And she was like, yeah, I do, like, completely. And that's just, it's a great feeling to be like, yo, there's some progress made. Even though I probably don't see it, and I probably won't see it for a while, I feel it. I feel it once I get out the gym, right? I feel it. But actually physically seeing it, I don't see it. But when I do, I know that it's just going to push me even more. Hopefully, that's the hope, right? This whole journey is a hope that I, 1, stay consistent, 2, have the spark to stay consistent, and 3, don't lose my way, right? Don't get discouraged if I have a bad day or a bad week or a bad couple weeks, whatever that is, because it has happened during this journey, right? I've had several birthdays in the month of August. I've had my dad's, my son Tavian, my wife Tressa, my who else was this month? There was somebody else this month. I forget. It's bad. I forgot the birthday. Either way, a lot of parties, a lot of celebrations, right? A lot of cake and ice cream and Little Caesars pizza and just different things like that. Just junk food that I try to stay away from, but because we're in a family setting, because we're celebrating each other and things like that, this happens. So during those times, don't get discouraged, right? I'm only speaking from my experience. I'm only speaking from what I'm living, right? And I feel like anybody that's living this journey, that's going through these things, I feel like setting strict limits, or strict guidelines or strict limits on yourself is good, but at the same time, like, those strict limits should also come with but enjoy life too, right? Enjoy that birthday. If I was like, yo, let's go get cauliflower pizza for birthday, like, my son's gonna be like, Dad, are you dumb? Like, are you stupid? No, I don't want cauliflower pizza. We're gonna go to Costco. We're gonna get the pepperoni, right? We're gonna get the cheese with it, and we're gonna eat it, and we're gonna be happy. And that's what we did. That's exactly what we did. You know what I mean? When wifey says, yo, I want Mexican food for my birthday, we can go and have Mexican food. You know what I mean? My point is that limits are good. You don't have to eat to throw up, right? You don't have to indulge so heavy, right? And those are things that I'm learning, right? Even today, like, I had a cupcake with my wife today. Like, we cut it in half. She had half a cupcake. I had half a cupcake. It's better than me eating a full cupcake to myself, right? Now, somebody say, well, Dre, you should probably not have that sugar anyway. Duh, I know that. Duh, of course. But that cupcake made me happy, right? Half that cupcake made me happy. And hopefully the other half made my wife happy. But the weight loss journey's been going great. Of course, with this journey comes aches and pains. My back's hurting, my knees hurting. But I feel good. Like, at the same time, it feels good. It feels cool to wake up at 5 a.m. And granted, let me just, waking up at 5 a.m. is not cool. It's not the best thing in the world. But waking up at 5 a.m., getting into the gym and finishing that workout, that's cool. That's the part of my morning where I'm like, yeah, I got the hardest part of the day. Like, let's go. Like, let's get the rest of this thing going. And to the point now where I want to do some two-a-days. I want if I have some free time during the day, let's say I get my workout done at 6 a.m. I get it done by 6 a.m.
Hey, Dre, would you calm down for a moment and just let me talk? just at this point, you're just rambling. All right. What's up, everybody? I go by the name of Will Wonder, and I have a podcast called The Will Wonder Pod. I know, super original name, but I promise you'll love it. We talk sports, we talk music, and generally have some really interesting interviews with people that are doing some really cool things. So make sure you check it out wherever you get your podcast. Once again, that is the Will Wonder Pod. All right, Dre, go on about your business, whatever the fuck you were talking about.
Are you sick of podcasts that just interview people with the same questions and gossiping nonsense?
Are you tired of hearing about what's wrong with the world? Can you locate your nearest orphanage?
Who cooked the Last Supper?
R.I.P. Mr. Potato Head.
Seppuku Harakiri.
Where is Mavis Beacon?
This is Hos.
And this is host Beefy.
Listen to the Beans and Rice podcast.
Exclusively in Braille and all streaming platforms.
Patent pending.
Hey, yo, you're probably listening to the Unrestricted Podcast with DreRawka.
We are?
No, they are.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Oh, wow.
And I'm the real Ruby. You can catch me and Fonzie and the Defunct G Daddy Funk on Lake Talk 801 Podcast.
Yeah, but I think you have to come in more smoother, more funnier. Like, yeah, they could catch us on the Lake Talk 801 podcast.
Yeah, y'all can catch us on the Lake Talk 801.
Yeah, and we'll be like, and yeah, man, hey, and they could catch people like me, the real Ruby, and people like you, Fonzie, and people like him, G Daddy Funk,
wow,
on
that's
the
a
Lake
lot
Talk
of people.
801. Who cares?
What'd he say?
Huh?
I didn't hear him.
I don't know, but this probably should be the ad.
Are these on?
Catch a new episode every Monday on all streaming platforms. The Lake Talk 801. Tune in now.
Hey Alexa, can you show me a new barber?
Don't worry, I got you.
Boogie Down Barbershop in Taylorsville is now open. Anything from gentleman's cuts, taper, fade, or if you want to treat yourself to a nice hot towel shave, Boogie Down Barbershop has you covered. Cuts for men and kids. Book your appointment today at boogiedownbarbershop.com. By 10 or noon or by lunchtime, maybe early morning, I like to go back and do another session. Like, I would like to get to a point where I can feel confident and have the energy and have the manpower to get 2 days done. I think that would be dope. I think that's a dope challenge for myself. Going into September. This is the month where this is kind of like the lube month, right? September is kind of like the lube month where a lot of kids are going back to school. Football's back in session. Baseball's picking up, right? We're getting more news about the NBA. But we also got fall, right? Like, fall's about to approach. And we have a lot of that stuff's already happening, to be honest with you. Like, I walked into the store and I see the full Halloween display. Now, a podcast that I listened to, my homeboy PK was like, yo, I went into Target and there was Christmas stuff everywhere. I was like, what? Like, why did they do that in Houston? But, hey, I'm all for it. I'm all for the pumpkin spice. I'm all for the fall feels. I love fall. I look forward to this upcoming month. This is a time where I want to start planning better things, as far as like better dinners. I want to prep more, and just challenge myself in this space of this journey, right? While I can, right? While I have this spark, while I have this the energy to do all this stuff. And yeah, man, I just appreciate everybody's support and love during this time, because it's not easy. It's not easy at all. And that's part of the reason why I like to document it at Weight Down Credit Up on Instagram, is because I want to show people that, yes, I'm a father of 3. Yes, I'm a husband. Yes, I have 3 jobs. But I make sure I'm also making the attempt to better myself in the physical too, where it's like, yo, the whole old saying, cliche saying, where it's like, if I can do it, you can do it. I know some people might say, no, they can't. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's true. Like, if I can do it, doesn't mean you can do it. But what it means is that you possibly could. I'm optimistic that you could. And so hopefully this goes to somebody that needs that spark or needs that motivation to do whatever it is that they're wanting to do. It might not even be a weight loss journey, Maybe it's whatever it is. I just wanted to give that little love to you. I mentioned birthdays. I mentioned it was my son's birthday. He just turned 9 years old. My wife, she just turned, I won't say your age, babe. She's younger than me. But we just had her birthday too. It's funny because I shouldn't say it's funny. It sucks for my son Tavian because his birthday literally will always land either the week of or the week before he has to go back to school. It's just unfortunate the way that the school system is and the way that his birthday lands on August 12th. This year he went to school, or his back to school night was, his birthday was the 12th. He had to go back to school exactly a week from his birthday. Now, keep in mind, we've been going swimming during the summer. We've been doing some fun things, right? And then on his birthday, we went to Dave & Buster's, right? Pulled all the stops. Let him choose what he wants to do for his birthday. Choose all, he pulled no. There's nothing that he couldn't do for his birthday. He's like, I want to go to Dave & Buster's. All right, mom and dad got you. Let's go to Dave & Buster's. I've never been before. Wife and him, they went before for like a mom Sunday. And so we go to Dave & Buster's, and low key, we went on, I think his birthday was on Thursday, I think. And there was nobody there. There was like a Google like company like party kind of thing. But other than that, there was no kids. We went in there, we ate. By the way, probably one of the best burgers I've ever had was at Dave & Buster's. I don't know if it was just because I was starving or if it was really that good. It was delicious. Had all the meat on it. The fries were mid, but the burger, oof. I thought I was being cool. Bought an appetizer, got the nachos, not knowing that the nachos are really like an entree, right? So me and my wife and my son, we had the nachos, and by the time we were done with the nachos, I was like, damn, do I have room for the burger? Like, it was fire. Burger comes, and I'm grubbing, right? So fire, one of the best burgers I've ever had. And I couldn't finish it. That's how big the nachos were, and that's how much my stomach can't handle the amount of food I was eating before, which is a good thing, right? It's a great thing. But we killed it at Dave & Buster's. We had a great time. I set the second to highest score for the axe throwing game at Dave & Buster's, put my name up on the board and everything like that. Me and wifey played Connect 4, but it was the basketball version. Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. We also did the what's that, virtual reality kind of game. Dang, I sound like an old man. Like a virtuality. Is it virtuality? Virtuality. You know what I'm trying to say. The VR game. By the way, they are short staffed, so we had to wait literally about 2 hours into when we were there in order to play the VR. They're like, we got one person on the floor. They can't man the VR and help people with games. I was like, damn, y'all need to hire more people. But once we got in there, it was cool, quick. You know what I mean? We hop up in the ride, and it's literally a ride. It moves, it shifts. You have to buckle in and everything like that. Tavian wanted to do the Men in Black. So I'm a Men in Black kid. I grew up on Men in Black, right? K and J. You know what I mean? Agent K, Agent J. Classic movie. When I tell you that this VR was so dope, like that's putting it lightly. This thing was so realistic. Like I thought I was falling. Like some of the times when we're jumping and we're diving through space and we're taking on aliens and stuff, I'm like, yo, I'm getting sick off this, son. Like I'm like moving and like getting motion sickness. I was like, yeah, this is what we paid $6 for 4 minutes of incredible pleasure. Yeah. I meant every inch of that. I meant it. Yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, right after Dave & Buster's, we had my wife's birthday, and we went bowling. We went to All-Star Lanes in Valley Fair. An incredible bowling alley. by the way. If you haven't went, it's really dope. They have a huge arcade. I would say their arcade, it might be a little bit smaller than Dave & Buster's, but they have some really dope games at the Valley Fair Mall, All-Star Lanes. The bowling alley was a lot of fun too. We got some pretzels that were incredible. Sometimes the pretzel has a little bit too much salt. Nah, these ones, they baked them up in that air fryer that I know they have in the back. The little teenage girl, she put it in there and she like put it in for 2 minutes. Yeah, I mean, she warmed up the cheese for like a minute and a half. It was fire. I don't care if it comes in frozen, microwavable things. It was fire. I don't need all the fancy glitz and glam. I don't need her to shred the cheese. I don't need none of that. Just give me a good, nice food product. Even if it's fake, I don't care. Pretzel could have been plastic. As long as it's good, I don't care. Which is why I look like I do. It's my fault. It's all my fault. I get it. But yeah, wifey beat us the first game. It was the first game of bowling. Like, do we even count the first game of bowling? You're trying to find your stroke, pause, and you're trying to find how to hold the balls, pause, right? But you're trying to find yourself on the lane. I don't gotta pause that, right? Nah. And so she beat us. She beat me and my son. Tavian tried to do it without the bumpers, but it didn't work. He ended up throwing up the bumpers. But it was a lot of fun. I won game 2, slaughtered them by like 40 because your boy got the stroke right. No pause there. I hit it just right. Came up with a couple of it wasn't strikes. Nah, I'd be capping if I said it was strikes. A couple spares though. Came up with a couple spares. The nice pickup, which by the way, a spare harder than a strike because you have to pick up the rest of the pins, right? Your boy used to be on a bowling team too. It was like I was like maybe 9 or 11 years old between the two. We'll settle for 10. And me and my really good friend from D.A. Grout Elementary, Wesley Levy, we lived on the same block. Well, he lived on the opposite block to me, but we would always, the bus stop would be by his crib, so I used to walk to his house all the time. And he used to go to his grandma's house all the time. And grandma was dope. Like grandma was the one that hooked us up with all the stuff our parents wouldn't let us have, right? Like when Mountain Dew Code Red first came out, grandma was like, yo, y'all want that Mountain Dew Code Red? I got you. Here you go. Go down to the Sev, get your little Code Red, have fun. Oh, you guys want to go to Blockbuster? You want a video game? Oh, here you go. Here's some money. Grandma took care of us. So grandma had the idea, why don't you guys go down to the bowling alley down the street? And why don't you guys, take up some bowling? And Wesley, he's been bowling. I am a young kid from the hood. I don't know anything about bowling. My dad, we went a couple times, right? I didn't know you actually, like, you could have teams and stuff. And so my boy was like, yo, let's be a part of this league. I'm like, league? What's a league? It's like, oh, we create a team and we come in, we bowl every Thursday at 6:00. I'm like, oh, what? Well, I don't have no money. Oh no, grandma's got us. What? Grandma's got us? I ain't got no shoes. Oh, grandma's got us. What? Yo, sign me up. Let's go. So we end up doing this bowling league, right? And at first I was like, I thought I was dope because we've been a few times. Like I got a couple strikes. I got a couple spares, right? I'm averaging like a 71, which for me, that was good. With no handicap. And he was good too. And we end up bowling. I ended up getting my patches and everything like that. And then we just drifted apart. Like after middle school going into high school, we kind of drifted apart. So we stopped kind of talking and whatnot. We didn't have cell phones back then. Cell phones in school or cell phones on kids wasn't a thing back then. We had phone numbers, but like during moves and things like that, we'd lose contact. You know what I mean? But that was a really good time in my life where I tried something new. I liked it. And I actually enjoy bowling now. Like when we go and we bowl, I get that feeling like, yo, should I ask to join a bowling league again? I think that'll be fun. Maybe wifey might be down. I get a little bit too competitive though because I ended up like screaming while she was throwing it, while she's like running up, scare her, make her drop the ball a couple times. Yeah, it was fun. Lagoon was fun too, by the way. We went to Lagoon on Saturday for wifey's company party, and I hydrate the day before because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a heat wave in Utah right now. For anybody that's outside the local Salt Lake City, Utah area, it is hot over here. It's desert hot. We live in a desert. Sometimes we forget that Utah's a desert because we have the snow-capped mountains and things like that. But, man, it is hot here in the valley, hundreds all week. So I hydrate, and I told the family too, yo, we need to hydrate before we get out there to Lagoon because we're going to be walking all day. And if you know me, that doesn't sound like fun. Everybody's like, yeah, Lagoon, that's the rides, it's the food, it's the atmosphere, right? I get it. I haven't been back to Lagoon since I was a teenager. Since you were Lagoon back in the day, and I come to find out Lagoon hasn't changed at all. Lagoon is for the family, the teenager that is with his homies, that's out trying to have some fun, get some girls, the teenager that has some problems with some people and find out that the other people are going to be at the Lagoon trying to mess up their fun, looking for a fight, right? And probably pedophiles. I think that'll probably be accurate. I think there was probably a few files over there somewhere lurking. I actually told I was asking my wife, I was like, how many pedophiles do you think we walked past? She was like, probably a lot. And it's true, man, because there's so many people and so many mixtures of people all in one spot. It's crazy. You got in Lagoon, they let you bring whatever you want inside. You got a what's that thing called, a cooler? You bring a cooler in, bunch of beer and alcohol, right? They don't pat you down, so I'm sure everybody in there is carrying a weapon of some sort. You might catch a security guard here and there. The only security guard I've seen, well, I lie. There was 2 security guards I seen. There was one at the beer garden entrance, which we'll talk about here in a second. And then there was one by the train because a little girl was lost and the security guard was trying to help the little girl. Which is kind of funny because when you walk into Lagoon, I haven't been back, like I said, since I was a kid. So it's been 15 plus years since I've been at Lagoon. And we go in. When you go through the entrance, there's a big sign to the right that says lost children this way. Like there's a whole lost and found for kid, like a kid lost and found. Like you walk up, like if I walk by a little girl or a little boy and I'm like, yo, are you lost? And like, yeah. I'm like, yo, come with me. I'll take you to the lost and found. It's kind of wild, yo. Like, I wonder what that room looks like. It's just a bunch of little kids just like looking out the window for their parents. The more I think about it, the more crazy that sounds, yo. Like, yo, do they have like the little hamster, like a hamster wheel and like the little hamster water bottle hanging out for the little kids can take a drink? Like, do they feed the little kids while they're in lockup? There's no like overhead speaker or anything like that. There's no like, we need Mr. and Mrs. Adams. We got your child here. We need to come pick him up now because he's ruining everything. There's none of that. There's so if you lose your child, I guess you can go to Lost and Found. I guess that's where you would want to go. I was thinking that. I was like, man, if we lost our kid in this sea of people, you just kind of have to hope for the best. Like, it's a lot of things going on there. But yeah, man, things have not changed at Lagoon. The rides still look the same. There's a few new attractions like the beer garden, which that was one of the main things that I wanted to see. Well, no, I'm going to be honest with you. When wifey said, yo, we're going to Lagoon for my work party, I was like, cool. I'm going to the beer garden. Now, your license is expired, so you already can't. She already don't drink, but you for sure can't drink. You possibly can't even get into this place. The son, Tavian, he had to sit out on the bench outside because I'm going inside this German beer garden that they just built. And man, this place is beautiful. You walk in, there's a big sign that says, yo, no outside food. You can't leave the beer garden with your drink, which doesn't make sense because there's people walking all over the park with their natural lights and their Miller High Drafts and their Coronas and their Modelos. I seen one dude walking around with a Bloody Mary. Like, how the hell you walk around with a big old cup with tomato juice and celery? We see the tahini on it. We know what's going on. We know there's some tequila in that mug. But me, I can't leave the beer garden with no stout? All right, Lagoon, you win. I'll drink my stout in the beer garden. So you walk in, and I've never been to Germany. I got a nephew, rugby star, Tyrell. He lives in Germany. I've personally never been to Germany, but when I walk into this beer garden, I instantly was like, I don't even know if that's Germany. I just assume that it is because of the little Price is Right game where the guy's going up the mountain. But you walk in and it's like you stepped into like a different world, like a different country, which is what they were going for, right? A beautiful fountain out front. The little cottage place, super dope. They got the big mugs of beer. Now, the only disappointment is that they had one bartender in there. The chick had to be 192 years old. Like, she looked like the chick from Titanic. You know what I mean? Where she was like, I got the blue heart of the sea. You know what I mean? Not like the chick with the red hair, but like the old lady telling the story about Titanic. That's who she looked like. Like, I was like, man, how she even carry a mug? This lady's old as hell. Like, she was probably, like, when Jesus was born, like, she was probably one of the delivery nurses. Like, that's how old this chick was. Like, I feel like when she pulled down the little nozzle on the beer, I feel like if it touched her, like, she would just dissolve into dust. Like, nothing. Plus, when I walked in there, nobody had a beer in their hand. So I was like, oh, my gosh, she's starting from the top of the line. There's 15, 20 people in this damn room. It's going to take me a half hour, 2 hours to get my damn beer. I'm like, I'll come back later. I'll come a different time. Pause. So, didn't get a beer, but the atmosphere was dope. The atmosphere was dope. Lagoon, if you guys watch this, by the way, shout out to Lagoon, man. They shared my story. They shared my story on Instagram. Shout out to them. But Lagoon, let's get some teenagers to serve some beer. Now, I know that's unethical. I get it. I understand. But I'll tell you what, those teenagers that was doing whipping up the waffle cones and whipping up the Dole Whip, they were on it. They were moving the line quick. Now, if we had some teenagers pouring some beers that quick, it'd just be 10 times better. Please make that happen, Lagoon. Kids for a beer, all right? I'm just playing. All right? I'm just playing. Just make the lines go faster, please. I seen on IG that Travis Scott is here. Now, I say that loosely because it could be an old photo. I don't know. He did post a video or a photo on his story of him at Vivint on the floor, right? And the arena, like the arena screen, I guess the big screen was on the ground. And they had like a fuchsia color on the top of the ceiling. I did some research. Like, what the hell? Why is Travis Scott here? He's not performing here. He doesn't have a concert here. Why is he here? And it turns out he is actually taking Donovan Mitchell's spot. Donovan Mitchell is going to the Knicks, and Travis Scott, he is coming in because they're going to need to sell tickets. So it's kind of like Mike. You know how Lil Bow Wow was there, right? And they're like, yo, we'll be able to sell some tickets with a kid on the bench. It's how it is with Travis Scott right now. My man's coming to Utah. He's moving the family. They're moving from Calabasas. They're coming to Sandy. No, I lie. Conwood Heights, gated community. And my man's going to ride the bench.
The name says it all. Uh-oh. You know my name. This is Are You Dumb?
All right, Are You Dumb is brought to you by the good folks over at Boogie Down Barbershop, man. The number one barbershop in Utah. My man Sean, he is a great barber. He cuts my son Tavion's hair. I think he's itching to cut my hair, but you know how I am about my hair. Very sensitive about it. Very insecure about it. Eventually, though. Eventually, I'll get there. So a Missouri school district brings back paddling to discipline students. If you haven't heard about this, I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't know this could even be a thing. Now, this school district, they took a vote. They were like, yo, people of Missouri, people of the county, our kids are out of line. They're vaping. They are doing TikTok dances while Susie Gonzalez is trying to teach them Spanish third period. They're sitting there doing the Doja Cat dance. They're doing the jiggle jiggle dance. We need our students in line. We need them to get back on top of things. The only way we can do it is if we bring back paddling. If we whoop these kids' ass, that's the only way we're going to get these kids in line. Majority rule. They're like, yo, bring it back. It's cool. You can whoop my kids' ass. Now, the thing is, with this, they're not just going to be whooping kids to whoop kids, right? The parents have to sign a release. They have to sign a release saying, yo, if the principal feels like they need to whoop my kid, they have my permission. What constitutes a whooping, though? That's my question. I did not see an answer in the article that I read off of the Huffington Post, or I'm sorry, the Huff Post. But yeah, I want to know, is it like, yo, if a kid like speaks out of line, if a kid makes fun of another kid, if a kid, does a spit wad, do they still do spit wads? I remember back in my day, old man, we used to do spit wads. We used to gleek, like gleeking was a thing. Now looking back at it, probably not the most sanitary, most clean thing, especially when you know that there's VD in schools. That's happening. I wouldn't know from experience, but that is happening. Now thinking about it, man, we were disgusting human beings as kids, but not as bad as these kids now. But I also think that, like, yo, if the is it the principal that's whooping these kids, or is it like the teacher, like English teacher? Like, I would be so mad if my third period history teacher, Mr. Ludlow, was like, Andre, you sneezed, bend over. Whoa, what? Like, you just gonna whoop me in front of everybody, in front of my third period crush? Like, come on. Like, can we just go into the back and I can just bend over for you in the back? That came out wrong. It came out really wrong. But you know what I mean. Is the kid having to go down to the principal's office? Is the principal like, yo, you were tardied again, Andre? That was the fourth time this week. That's 4 licks. Bend over. Cough. All right. Maybe too far. But at what point? I'm also worried that, like, yo, we got these kids not giving an F no more. Like, these kids not giving a fuck is crazy. So if you got your school principal or any school authority beating these kids with a paddle, who's to say that kid ain't gonna be like, yo, all right, you got me now, but I'm gonna get you after school. Tick, talk, gun, short. That could happen. That kid could get really upset because Miss what's the teacher's name? Miss Stevenson. Shout out to Sally Stevenson, VA route, 5th grade. She was the shit. It's my favorite teacher, man. You know what I mean? Miss Stevenson gets mad, paddles you, and now Miss Stevenson wakes up with no eyelids. I'm just saying, these things could happen. I think it's a bad move to even bring this up. I think it falls on the parents. Come on. Like, parents, you should be the one whooping your kids. Nah, it's not bad. I think spankings are okay. You know what I mean? Like, as a kid, when I was a kid, I would just be like, man, I'd be all mad when my dad beat me. But now looking back at it, I'm like, if my dad didn't beat me, I would be so bad. Like, I probably wouldn't be here. I'd be dead, be locked up because I didn't get disciplined at home. But because I got disciplined at home, I got disciplined in many ways. I don't want to paint this picture that my dad is some, crazy abuser or anything like that. No, my dad would take things away. Like, he would take the video games. He would take outside away, right? I'd be grounded, like real grounded. I don't think kids nowadays know what grounded is, right? I for sure as hell know my kids don't know what grounded is. That's bad news on me. I know. Sometimes dad's lenient. Now I think about it. Am I set my son up to be a murderer? All right, I'm gonna beat my son when I get home. I'm just playing. All right, DCFS, I'm just playing. But I do think that discipline starts at home. I feel like if these kids get disciplined at home, hopefully they're going to act right in school. And if they don't act right in school, hopefully when their parents get the call that they're not acting right in school, hopefully they are scared enough that when their parents find out, that they start acting right. They go back, they apologize to their teacher, right? These kind of things. The worst thing my dad did to me, it wasn't beating me with the belt. It wasn't beating me with his hand. It wasn't throwing a shoe at me. It wasn't, these things. Hit me with an ashtray. It wasn't these things. It wasn't stitching cord. It wasn't a fire pan to the head. It wasn't these things. It wasn't drowning me in the bathtub. It wasn't these things. It wasn't not feeding me. It wasn't these things. It wasn't putting me underneath the sink and locking the little latch. It wasn't these things. It was my dad saying he was disappointed in me. That's what made me hurt. When I would get home and my dad already knows what's going on because he got the call, right? I don't know how to delete the messages off the answer machine. So when he gets home and he puts a little ding, Mr. Adams, I need to talk to you about Andre's behavior today. He threw a desk at me and he tried to stab Karen Fan with a number 2 Dixon pencil. If you can give me a call back at 503-972-2255, that would be appreciated. Andre! I knew it was over. Try to lock the door. Try to be like, yo, no, I'm in the bathroom. I'm going to poop. And knowing damn well I wasn't going to poop. I was trying to figure out how I could get out of this ass whooping I was about to get. But when I come out and my dad's like, yo, sit down. And he's like, yo, what happened today? And I tell him, and he hits me with the, I'm disappointed in you. That's a gut punch. That's bad. It hurts. Because I know what my dad sacrificed for me. I know what my dad has been through for me. I mean, it's a lot. As a single father, dealing with his own mental health, with his own addictions and things like that. And me messing up, adding more stress to him, I felt bad. And I feel that's what these parents need to do for their kids, is they need to guilt trip them. Make them feel horrible. That's it. What else is going on in dumb news? Oh, Heinz. Yo, so Heinz Ketchup, the legendary ketchup, the one that Mickey D's uses. I think McDonald's uses. I don't know why, but the packets at McDonald's, they have the best ketchup. I don't know if they put more sugar in it. I don't know what the deal is with that ketchup. Just like their fountain drink, hitting. Or what the kids say? Bussin'. It's bussin'. So good. But Heinz drops a ketchup stain vintage collection to celebrate sustainability. So pretty much Heinz is like, yo, we linking up with Thread Up Streetwear, which is a streetwear out of, I believe it's out of California. But they're releasing a whole collection, 137 pieces of clothing with stains on them, with Heinz Ketchup stains. Now I'm assuming that it's like a print. I'm assuming that it's not the actual ketchup stain. But really the whole thing for this, when I was looking into it, there's no reason other than telling the world that, yo, we've been here. We have been here forever. We ain't going nowhere. Just like this stain on your shirt. We've all been there before. You know what I mean? Not me, because I never had a stain on my shirt. I grip Saul Pine, leave them clean in the dirt. I got the works. Now, Heinz, I think this is a great marketing campaign. I think this is great. I think it's dope. Why? Because we've all been there before. We've all been there before when you dip your little French fry in. You're like, ooh, you about to get it? Playing with it. And then you go to take that first bright bite and it drips right on your shirt. Especially a white tee. If you got a white Pro Club, oh man, that shit hurts, man. That's like a gut punch. It's like a punch to the throat from my dad. Horrible, right? But Heinz is doing it. I love it. I'm with it. You won't catch me buying it because it's probably expensive. I'll check and see. You know, I mean, once it drops, I'll check and see. You know what the prices look like. But I'm excited for it. I think it's a good marketing ploy. Somebody else that has been going viral, I guess you will, is a TikToker that was at a Michael Jackson impersonator concert. I believe it was in Vegas. It has to be, right? You don't just go, you ain't just catching a Michael Jackson impersonator concert at, you know, Idaho, Missouri, Michigan. You don't see, you might catch it in Hollywood, maybe, but Vegas, we all know Vegas is a hot spot for impersonators. So a chick was there with her sister. It was her sister's idea. It was her sister's birthday. And the concert starts. And the fake Michael's up there doing it. You know, Michael Jackson doing Man in the Mirror, doing all the classics. And this chick is cowering. Is that how you say it? Cowering? Cowering. She was shaking in her boots, all right? Shaking in her boots, scared of the impersonator. It's a phobia, she says. She said, I have a phobia over Michael Jackson. The amount of gall, the amount of, I don't even know what the word is, that this chick has. Michael Jackson? Come on, man. We all love Michael. What a homeboy say in the movie? I love little Mikey. I love little Michael. It's a great guy. There was some things alleged, right? There's some weird things happening. Well, I don't know why you laying with little boys. I get it. But he was found not guilty. FBI did their research. They did their investigation. Nothing. Why are you scared of Michael Jackson?
And now the movie review segment you didn't ask for. It's down in front.
Caught a new movie called Me Time on Netflix. Now, I didn't even see nothing for this movie or the next movie that we're going to talk about, but Me Time is starring Kevin Hart, Mark Wahlberg, Regina Hall. We had some guest appearances from Taj Mowry. Seal actually made an appearance as well. This is a movie about a stay-at-home dad that is trying to find himself, right? He has a really good friend that is out living his best life, jumping out of planes, living on yachts, living lavish, right? And here's Kevin, stay-at-home dad, very suburban, takes his kids to and from school, cleans the whole house, has a pet tortoise, right? And he feels like he's losing himself. Well, the opportunity comes where his wife is like, hey, do you mind if we go up to the cabin for spring break? I'll bring the kids. You go have fun. You go do you. Have me time. And Kevin actually takes the offer. He ends up doing everything that he wanted to do. First off, just like any other single dad, or not single dad, I shouldn't say single dad, but any other dad that gets some me time, he went to the bedroom to choke his meat. Did it a little too soon because mom and kids came back and interrupted his me time, right? But he ends up going to his favorite barbecue spot to get something to eat. He ends up just doing a bunch of fun things by himself, and then he is like, man, I got a lot of time left. Wife and kids is out for spring break. I need more time. So he ends up talking to his friend, a long time homie, Mark Wahlberg, that's been out living his life, right? And they connect. He ends up having his 44th birthday. And Kevin goes along for the journey. You know what I mean? They end up creating their own little Burning Man thing in the hills. Oh, by the way, the film starts off Moab, Utah. We made it, baby. We made it. Moab, Utah, and they're jumping they're like base jumping in the Moab desert off of the Red Rocks and things like that. But I won't spoil the movie for you. I'll just say IMDb did not give this a good rating at all. They give it a 5 out of 10. Now, don't go into this with like anything other than, I just want to laugh. Like, don't have high expectations for great acting or anything like that, right? Not to say that anybody in here did a bad job or anything like that. I thought it was good. I enjoyed the movie. I would give it a 7 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. There was a part with a mountain lion that was hilarious. There's a bunch of funny parts in this movie I really enjoyed. I could see them, cash cowing this. The budget of it, I believe, was $100 million. No, not this movie. The next movie was $100 million. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Again, it's called Me Time on Netflix. Check it out. Another Netflix joint that just dropped. Again, no promotion. I didn't see no trailers. I didn't see no interviews. I didn't see no hype video. I didn't see nothing on either of these movies from Netflix. This one was called Day Shift. Now, IMDb gave this one a 6.1 out of 10. Again, not the friendliest review. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 57%. Me personally, again, another 7 out of 10, maybe 8 out of 10, maybe 8's pushing it, but definitely higher than a 6.1. This is about a hardworking, blue-collared dad and husband and Jamie Foxx, who is trying to get back into the union for being a vampire hunter. Now, I know what you're thinking, another vampire movie, but this isn't Blade. This isn't your parents' Dracula. This is some new age Dracula, contortionist type hype movie. It's actually really good. I had a really good time with it. It's starring Jamie Foxx. Dave Franco is in this movie as well. He's a co-star in it, along with Natasha Lou Bordizzo, I believe is how you pronounce it. Making Good is back on the big screen. Yeah, she made her debut on, not debut, but she made an appearance on this movie. She was actually Jamie Foxx's ex-wife in this movie. And somebody else that made an appearance is Snoop Dogg. He's actually a cowboy in this movie, the cowboy vampire hunter. Yeah, he's trying to keep his wife from moving out of state, and the only way that he can keep his family together in the state is if he can actually provide, if he can bring in more money and contribute more. And so he's doing everything to get back on the union, to make more money, by hunting these vampires, by getting these vampire fangs, until he kills the wrong vampire. Yep, he kills the wrong one, and then there's vengeance right off the bat. It's off top. It's dope. The first 5 minutes of the movie get you hooked. And again, this is another movie where it's like, don't go in there, too critical. Go in there to have fun. With the action, look at the details in this movie. Look at the makeup. Look at the contortionist. Look at the scene, the fight scene. There's my favorite scene in the whole movie is when they go into a house and they fight maybe 100 vampires. It's crazy. It's crazy. Check it out. It's called Day Shift, and it's on Netflix now. Another movie or another series, docu-series that I'm looking forward to is, and Wifey actually brought this to me, it's called Sons of Our Mother. This is the story behind Lori Vallow. If you're outside the local area here in Utah, you may have not heard about this story, but it was big news here in Utah because Lori, she had ties to Utah, and her husband had ties to Utah as well. Long story short, there was 2 kids that were missing, and the parents of the kids were not cooperating with law enforcement. Kind of suspicious, right? You would think that if your kids are missing, you're trying to do everything in your power to make sure your kids come home safe, right? Well, she wasn't. And come to find out, the kids were murdered and buried in her current husband's backyard. Story gets a little bit more crazier than that. The husband of Lori Vallow, something Daybell, I forget his first name. Charles Daybell, that's what his name was. His wife was murdered, died. Lori's husband at the time, before her current husband, died, murdered. It's crazy. It's a crazy story about this love, the love between Lori Vallow and Charles Daybell and their affair, and him thinking he is another second coming, right? And religion and this cult, and her being brainwashed to sacrifice her own kids, allegedly. It's crazy. The documentary is the take of what's going on with Lori Vallow's case, right? The whole story, but it's through the lens of her oldest son. And yeah, I look forward to it. It drops September 14th on Netflix. I'm all for it. I believe we're getting 7 episodes out of it. A lot's going on in this documentary. The whole, if you haven't yet, you can find the story on YouTube or something. Just search Lori Vallow. You know, it's always those ones that are kind of like, yo, she's kind of cute. She's like, yo, kind of crazy. It's always those ones you got to watch out for.
All right, that's it. That's all your bitch ass gets.
All right, that's all you get. I am out of here. Again, my name is DreRawka, DreRawka on Instagram. Make sure you follow it. I will be at Fierce Fighting Championship on September 24th. Well, actually, better yet, let me give you some real dates, because your boy got some dates that I'm pretty excited about. I will be at a bar named Sue September 2nd. That's at State. And then I'll be at Sue's Highland September 3rd. September 10th, I'll be at Sioux State for UFC 279. And football is back. College football is back. My Ducks play this Saturday. We're taking on Georgia. Might get our ass kicked, but hey, who knows? If we can get this win over Georgia, great way to start off our season. Then I'll be at State September 17th for the Utes game. And again, September 24th, I'll be at the Maverick Center for Fierce Fighting Championship number 21. Tickets are on sale right now. You can go on to fiercefightingchampionship.com to see to get those tickets. Big card. There's a lot of fighters on here. Now, I don't know the actual like matchups just yet, but I know that Hardman is going to be fighting. He was featured on the Damage Plan MMA podcast, and yeah, I look forward to see him fight. Haro is going to be fighting again. Hatch is back up fighting. Trevor Bradshaw, the homie Trevor Bradshaw, you might have seen him on the 27th Hour podcast. Actually had the opportunity to sit down and talk with him. Really dope dude. And then Dominico's back. Yes, Mr. Salas, my boy, he is back. He's going to be in the cage doing his thing. So again, go on to fiercefightingchampionship.com for Fierce Fighting Championship 21 Saturday, September 24th at the Maverick Center. Tickets are on sale now, $23. You know, they start at $23, so make sure to go get it. Yeah, I'm just living. I'm doing Sunday workouts every Sunday. Right now, we're going at like 7 a.m. Check Weight Down Credit Up on Instagram if you want to see kind of the latest updates for that, if times change or anything like that. But yeah, again, I just appreciate you watching or listening. Shout out to the YouTube gang. Shout out to everybody that's been watching or listening to Unrestricted as well. I do another podcast where I sit down with actual guests. Most of them are just my homies. It's rare that I sit down with somebody I don't know. It's rare that I do the whole, like, you know, I sit down with the homies. And if I sit down with them, it's typically we've met before and we're talking, we're chatting. Last episode I dropped 3 episodes in 1 week. I dropped the Isolation20 and I dropped part 1 and part 2 of Unrestricted. So tons of content out right now. If you want to support the channel, if you want to support this podcast, you can go make donations at allrock.com. That's ALLRAWK.com. Merch is coming. I know I've been saying that, but look, it's hard when you're all by yourself. Not to have a pity party, but when you're all by yourself on this thing, you know, things take priority. So the goal is by end of the year, maybe top of the year, I will have some merch ready for you to consume. A lot of the merch is going to be podcast based, meaning things that are said on the podcast or relevant to the podcast, whether if it's Unrestricted or Isolation20. Yeah, All Rock Media is the headquarters. If you are somebody looking to start a podcast, or if you just want some consulting on even your own podcast or your own YouTube channel or any type of content, reach out. Allrock.com. I'd be more than happy to help you out. The media team is here to help. Okay. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Have the day you deserve. Protect your light. We out. Peace.